Hi, and welcome back to a slightly different version of AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris, and joining me today is Mark Dando. Mark's the CEO of Proxy Twin, and together with a special guest, we're going to be talking all things digital twin. Hi, Mark. Thanks for joining us on AI in 5.
Thanks for having me, Simon.
Now, I'm really happy to be talking to the real Mark.
At least you hope it is.
I hope it is, because we're going to be talking about digital twins, which I really find exciting and really timely given all the stuff in the news about Norway making people's faces now copyrighted. Tell us a little bit about digital twins, how they work and how you're seeing them being used.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. It's a great place to start to look at the ethics of what we do. So we think of ourselves a bit as the antidote to deepfakes. So we always took an ethical stance to say that each person that we create a digital twin of, that they own the copyright to their twin. So they get to decide how it's used, when it's used. In fact, we badge it too. So for transparency, we always make it very clear that you're speaking to a digital twin.
Digital twin, yep.
And that acts a bit like a blue tick. You know, it's to say this is the authorized version of Simon Chris. So that everybody involved is very aware that that's who they're speaking to. And it opens up possibilities where people can, speak to have 50 calls every morning if they need to. Their twin can, and then they can get a transcript and summaries of all those calls and then work out, okay, which are the ones I really need to get back to.
Yeah, wow. Okay. And what are the big use cases? I mean, you've got some great corporate names involved, NBN and others. What are the use cases? How are organizations using this?
Yeah, so in 2 words, I'd say to amplify their expertise and their experts.
So to bring more expertise to a conversation.
Yeah, if they typically organizations will have an expert or two in their organization, and they can often actually end up being a little bit of a bottleneck. They're very important in the organization, but because of that, a lot of things have to pass through them, and it can either overweigh that person or it's a bottleneck for growth. And so in this way, what they can do is create a copy that can be used right across the organization. So a great example, NBN created a proxy twin of Jackie, who was an expert on all the NBN products, and salespeople can take Jackie into a Zoom call with them and use Jackie to involve Jackie in the conversation to respond to questions that customers might have. So It stops the bottleneck of customers coming up with a question. The salesperson says, "Oh, I don't know the answer to that. Can I get back to you next week?" They've got someone right there with them. And all of Jackie's responses were vetted by the CTO and their legal team. So they know that 100% they can get behind those responses.
So when you say vetted, is that there are just a certain set of questions and anything outside of that the digital twin can't answer? Or is it doing kind of like a RAG lookup in real time, but from a known data source and the testing was really successful?
Yeah, so what's quite important is that you don't want an expert to answer questions on any topic. You want them to answer questions on their expertise. So if they get asked questions on, where's the best place to go on holiday this year? They're probably going to respond with something like, hey, sounds like a great question for the real Jackie, but why don't we focus on what NBN has to offer you?
Got it. Okay. Wow, fantastic.
And that's true right across, other examples. We for the Deputy Chief Medical Officer during COVID, we use Proxy Twin to respond to questions on vaccination. And they keep focused on their expertise. And we use Nokia as another example. Nokia used it to have their CTO show people around their new 5G lab, which was great. They actually put the face of their CTO onto a robot. And so not only did they have their CTO talking to them, but the robot actually physically moved around.
Yeah, that's an extension. Well, look, I know people who watch and listen to this show would love to see this in real time. So how about we bring in a digital twin and give it a go?
Let's do it. Hey, Jackie, do you want to come and join us?
Hi, I'm the proxy twin of Jackie Sadis, an executive manager at NBN Australia. At the National Broadband Network, I lead the team who engage with our business stakeholders. I'm here to answer your questions about the National Broadband Network, or NBN for short. Some common questions I get asked are, who is NBN and what services do we provide? Which technologies are used by NBN to deliver internet across Australia? And what is the Discovery Centre? What would you like to know?
So, Jackie, can you tell me a joke?
Why did the router go to therapy? Because it had too many connections and not enough bandwidth for itself.
Okay, that was a terrible joke. I'd like to ask where you're going to go on holidays this year.
I think that's a question for the real Jackie. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Yeah, well, actually, tell me a little bit more about NBN.
NBN is a wholesaler, so we don't sell directly to our end customers.
And what happens now if I interrupt you while you're
Products.
talking? Can you answer a different question?
What would you like to ask me?
So, Mark, this is a great example of being able to just interact with Jackie. Jackie, thank you so much. We're going to go.
It was great chatting with you. Bye for now.
Well, that was really interesting and exciting to do. Thank you for that, Mark. Look, we're right at time, but I love to ask everybody that comes on the show the same question. And that question is, what would be your best bit of advice for an organization just starting their AI journey? What should they be doing or what should they be thinking about?
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, I think it's really important to use AI to build trust in your organization and trust in your products. And I think I'd use that to discern what are the things in AI that are actually going to build trust. And I hope today that we've shown that using human faces across your products and your website are going to help to do that.
Yeah, look, great advice, Mark. Thank you for being a part of AI in 5.
Thanks, Simon.